What's up, military and veterans? The time has come for you to destroy your financial freedom goals, and luckily, there's an event coming up just for you.
The Veterans for Financial Freedom organization is hosting a seminar in San Diego, California this February on financial literacy, entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and some of our Agent Goldmine guests are rocking the stage as speakers.
Get your ticket at veteransforfinancialfreedom.org/Agent Goldmine and take action towards your goals today. Now, enjoy the show. Closed 2 million and, well, I guess it's like 3 million and 7 closings since making that switch. He's a solo agent, and today we're going to talk a lot about the struggles of shifting to a full-time agent in 2023.
This is the Agent Goldmine, where you'll find real talk, and ambition. We're here to build real businesses and be more than your average agent. We want to know what the killers are actually doing within their businesses, the reality of it. All tactical, no fluff. So we're here to find out. Please share and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Agent Goldmine. We are here, Shelby and Allie, with our boy Ryan Overcash in the house today. He's from the Raleigh-Durham area, and he has been an agent for 2.5 years part-time and then shifted to full-time 5 months ago in 2023, which is like a really hard time to shift. Most people are shifting out, and he's like, no, let's go full send. So since making that decision, he's closed 2 million and 7 closings since, well, I guess it's like 3 million and 7 closings since making that switch. He's a solo agent. And today we're going to talk a lot about the struggles of shifting to a full-time agent in 2023, building a newsletter, some AI tools, some 2024 tools for projecting your business, YouTube, lots of fun subjects. And Ryan, you're a freaking listener. We're so excited to have you on the show. Welcome to the Agent Goldmine.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, this is probably the best podcast I listen to that's focused on real estate agents. So one of my goals actually next year is to listen to less podcasts, but I will continue to listen to this one, of course.
Yes.
And this is my first one ever. So hopefully I can have a comeback story in 2 years where, my business has grown a ton. I'm doing all these cool things and talking about that stuff then. But yeah, the first 6 months has been a struggle, that's for sure.
Okay, I love that. I love the transparency, I love highlighting both like the struggles and the accomplishments, because a lot of podcasts only ever really cover the accomplishments, what people see on the gram, which is all perfect. So yes, Ryan, you have your spot reserved for either next year or 2 years down the road of, hey, this is, where he was 2 years ago and this is where he's at now. I want to know, starting with the career switch, what was your, well, I see it in the notes, but what was your W-2 and why did you leave, especially in 2023?
Yeah, so I think it was a long time coming. I went to school for 6 years, getting 2 degrees in different biology fields, got an undergrad and master's from NC State. So making the transition to a W-2 in pharmaceuticals just made sense. I had roles that were both technical and I guess more sales heavy in both business development and process development roles. I honestly have been listening to podcasts probably since 2015. I always had somewhat of an interest in real estate. So I remember I wrote down in a journal in 2016 that I want to buy a house every year moving forward because I plan on house hacking. Then, of course, I decided to go to grad school, which got me a little sidetracked there. So I really always had that interest in real estate. I worked in pharma for 5 years. I loved the people I worked with. I never specifically loved my jobs or had really any genuine interest in the industry in general. And being part-time for 2.5 years was great because I got to slowly work on some transactions. And I just got to kind of a tipping point middle of last year. I think July of this year, and finally decided to pull the trigger. And I will say there's never a perfect time to pull the trigger on quitting a good full-time job. I had paid off like close to $40,000 in student loans earlier this year. And I was like, dang, it would be nice to have that money for a little backstop right now. But yeah, things are going well. I've been closing about 1 transaction per month, but it is very difficult right now to find new clients. But I'm managing still.
You're still here, you didn't leave the business. So many people have left the business. And honestly, it doesn't really hurt that you have a pharmaceutical background and then going into real estate, people are making money. So your sphere has the ability to purchase, and maybe they already have purchased. So you can help them on the sell side. For diving deeper into that transaction or into the transition from pharmaceuticals to full-time real estate agent, did you have any goals or any commission net GCI amount or anything like that to be able to know once I make this amount, then I'm going to mentally feel better about leaving my W-2?
Yeah, so I guess middle of the year, I started to see my transactions pick up to where I was starting to get to where I was going to be doing one per month. And I knew that doing one per month at a minimum, I could pay my bills. And making the transition my first year is, hey, I think it's a success going into this market if I can pay my bills for a year just from real estate income. And so far, that's working out. It's going well. Obviously, I haven't had to stress about money this much in a while, or at least be as conscious about my spending. So I'm hunkering down and cutting my expenses where I can to give myself some level of comfort moving forward. Even though 2024 is looking great for me, I think at some point within the year, I'll start to get to two transactions per month. And you touched on it, having the pharma background is actually great because I've worked with quite a few of my ex coworkers and stay connected with a lot of that community. I'm even in a group that helps plan events in pharma still. So I stay pretty connected, and people probably look at me now, wow, you're so much more excited about working in real estate than you were in pharma. And I'm like, yeah, I am. So I think they like to work with me because they see how excited I am about my new career.
Just yesterday, I went back onto base, Davis Monthan here in Tucson, to teach about the VA loan. I taught like a squadron on how to use the VA loan to separate from the Air Force or retire from the Air Force a net worth millionaire with real estate. And I went back because I was on base. I never really go back on base anymore. I went back to my old units, and I was just like, I was another person. You know, it was almost as if I was seeing that office for the first time, if that makes sense. And I was talking to the bosses there that were my bosses then, and I was like, dude, I like rediscovered myself, like I didn't realize how I was back then. Like I
Yeah.
was so like just encompassed with, like that Zoloft cloud in those commercials, just like the cloud always follows you. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
me. Like I hated life, it was so bad. And yeah, like they all noticed like right away, just like the change in confidence and like just everything really. And I was like, yeah, I rediscovered myself. So with basically with your part-time real estate transactions, you were covering your basic necessities of life. So at the time, correct me if I'm wrong. So at the time, what you're making in pharmaceuticals was extra. Did I understand that correctly?
Not completely. Like I think my first year in real estate, I only did one transaction, so that I definitely couldn't cover my expenses then. And I think the second year I did three total. But I guess middle of this year, I started to see I was working with a lot more clients, and I had pretty good confidence level that I could cover my expenses at least through the end of the year with who I was working with. And then things just picked up. I started to do more business development. It's amazing when you actually, talk to five people a day or whatever your strategy is, how you do pick up business. It might come instantly, it might take time, but at least there's a pipeline there to look forward to. I guess, and then it was just like reconnecting with people that I hadn't connected with in forever, like people that I took classes with 5 years ago that now live in Wisconsin have sent me a referral. And it's kind of that simple. I don't understand why you would even take on other lead gen strategies until you've just talked to the people you know.
Yeah, totally agree. Allie and I are both very much sphere of influence and nurture those that are already in our network. That's exactly how we built our businesses. It's not even until now that I'm learning. It doesn't always work with certain personality types. I mean, it works better with some personalities than others. Talking to your sphere, no matter what, will generate some sort of activity. Doing the activities brings in the activities. But there are certain people who are more natural at pulling out the opportunity through conversations versus other people who are less naturally inclined, and you can absolutely learn it. But I want to dig deeper into that because I'm sure there's so many people who are listening who are like, man, I've been part-time for 2 years. I resonate with what he's saying. I've had a closing here, two closings here. And then you were like, it just started to pick up. But can we like dig deeper into that? What activities were you doing specifically? Slash, once you stopped the W-2, what activities are you doing to actually bring in more and more business into your world?
Thank you for listening. Out of respect for your time, we want to make this show as valuable as possible for you. So if you have any feedback on how we can improve, please let us know. DM us at Allie the Agent and The Shelby Show.
Right. So I guess earlier this year, really like the January, February timeline, I had started to consider leaving my job then, which obviously happened later in the year. But at that point, I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do that, I have to actually start talking to people about real estate more often and try to get more clients. So I spent the first several months of the year doing that. And then, that started to lead to people 2 to 3 months later wanting to buy homes. I work with a lot of first time home buyers right now, just due to my demographic of people I'm around typically. To be honest, like I look at the like altas and I'm shocked people want to buy homes this year because the cost of real estate's high, interest rates are high, everything's been a challenge for everyone. It's hard to wrap your head around paying $1,000 a month more for living expenses when you can rent so cheaply in Raleigh, Durham. So basically, I create a very simple plan of I got this from the track program. I don't follow track specifically, but of reaching out to the 5 people per day. And I looked at my database of people that I've collected over the years, and I have almost a little over 800 contacts in there. And I would say 400 of those people I'm pretty comfortable with initiating some type of conversation with. And 100 to 200 of those people I see often or I'm pretty well connected with. And feel there's probably a 75% chance I can convert them to a real estate client at some point. And then I had a lot of friends who are making the more serious decisions in life right now, are getting engaged, getting married, and a lot of them started to want to buy their first homes. So the timings worked out. A lot of the deals, sometimes I don't know where the next deal is coming from, but I just have to trust that doing the activities I mentioned will bring those deals eventually. Don't be scared to ask people for referrals either. Like my grandparents have sent me a referral for a lake house down at Lake Tillery, and it kind of comes out of nowhere, and I'll be listing that one probably first quarter next year. But I don't know. I would say start out by talking to the people because the conversations are more comfortable. You don't have to even talk to them about real estate. I promise you, they will see you left your job or they will know you left your job and they will ask about what you're doing. And that brings it up organically.
Where are they seeing that you left your job?
I post a lot on Facebook, LinkedIn, my newsletter, Instagram. I'm always out doing something real estate related or Instagram or exploring the area. So people just know. And if I haven't connected with them in a while, I'll just engage a conversation and tell them what's changed in my life. They tell me what's changed in their life, and it just comes up.
Okay, so when you decided to seriously contemplate quitting the job, you were like, well, now I finally have to start talking to people and start sharing what I want to do. So, like, steps being initiate conversation, minimum 5 a day, track those conversations, as well as share with the universe your plans, your goals, your dreams on various platforms. So, social media, but also dun dun dun, the newsletter, which I have read. Like, I popped around and read some articles, and I like your writing style. I like what you're putting out on there. So can you talk to us? Unless, Allie, do you have anything else on this topic before I ask about the newsletter?
Actually, yes. So I just sort of a transition. I just finished my business plan for 2024, and that it required looking at 2023, right? So like looking at where every piece of my business came from down to the person. So I first started with the person. Hey, who was the one person that referred me to be able to make money, And then I categorized those buckets, like how did I meet that one person? So I want to talk about like that if you know your different buckets, because I didn't realize I should have done this halfway through the year, but I am doing it now, whatever. I didn't realize how much I was getting from in-person events, not just conferences. I'm talking about local meetups, which I stopped going to because a lot of them are about investing, and I am doing my own investing behind the scenes. I just don't want to talk about it. So I cut it off my list when I realized, holy, I should be going to those again. So like I categorize all of, made them like super, super hot. Who do I need to treat honestly differently? And yeah, so I'm curious as to what your buckets look like.
Yeah, so far buckets have been pretty heavy friends, past coworkers, at least in the first few years. I have done one transaction where I actually met someone off Bigger Pockets forums who wanted to flip a house in the area and help them go through that process. If y'all still had a moment, that would probably be what I would discuss. Yeah, so I actually represented the buyer and the seller on the transaction, and the buyer was someone I had never met, and that's Probably something I will never do again unless I have vetted them very carefully. But yeah, most of my bucket there has been either coming from, I really haven't worked with any family yet. It's been mainly friends that are, and if you're talking about demographics, most of them are 33 years old or younger. It's working with people I've known in the past that have moved to the area from Wilmington. That was actually my first transaction ever. And they ended up having twins. So they had to sell their home and buy a larger home. Yeah. So I guess it's nothing super complicated. I, I guess my 2024 goal is to meet more people in the real estate investing world and really just real estate world in general, not clients necessarily. And I'm hoping I can start to track more transactions that are coming from there. I'm starting to meet more people online through social media. And so maybe next year that'll be a better question. I can tell you like how many people are coming from online, like sources where I interact on the social accounts and maybe YouTube as well. But right now it's been mainly friends and old coworkers.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not complicated. It's not really too hard to figure out. Just download your transactions from all of last year. Figure out who was the person that connected you to that person, or how did you get connected to them. And then what I wasn't doing, the step that I wasn't doing, was then putting them into a bucket. How did I meet that one person that then connected me to that other person? Like I wasn't doing that extra step to realize I need to be at more in-person events. I need to do this more. I need to cut this, which I thought it was working. Okay. So one of your buckets is the newsletter. Okay. Now
Wait,
I
now I have something else I want to ask.
hit it, Shelby.
You mentioned you wanted to meet more investors. Are you going to the Pints and Properties in Raleigh? Did you
I
know?
am. I just started going to that a few months ago. I know Shane leads that. It's a great event. I enjoy it. It's like small enough to where it's not a ton of pressure, but there's cool people to meet there and they have cool conversations. I think the last event we talked about how to buy a business, which the guy talking had bought like a gymnastics gym, which was very interesting. But no, I like that event. It's perfect size, good conversation. Everyone there is very friendly. So I would say if you're someone who's scared of networking. Luckily, grad school taught me how to network. It was kind of a big focus when I was in grad school. But if you're more scared to network or more shy or introverted, go to the smaller events first. It's an easy way to meet people. You don't have to listen to loud music or thousands of people talking at the same time. And I would say try to go to stuff you're actually interested in because your personality will show there. You'll be more willing to talk about the topics that exist. I like real estate. I like fitness and nutrition, playing sports. I try to go to events where I know there's going to be like-minded people that I have similar interests to. Pints and Properties, a lot of people there, they're in real estate and they like sports. That's two things I can talk about all day.
Love it. Yeah. And like shameless plug for Pints and Properties. If you are like, what is that? Go to pintsandproperties.com. It is a nationwide real estate investors meetup that you can start for free. I have a checklist, of course. Allie and I have checklists for literally anything. So if you want to find an event or start your own, go to pintsandproperties.com. Okay, dude, let's freaking talk about a newsletter. So have you, and I could have stalked this before, but how long have you been doing this? Was it intentional for a marketing strategy or just talk to us about your newsletter?
So I think I started it end of September with kind of a arbitrary goal to write one per week. I don't even know if I've stuck to that or not, but I've probably written anywhere between 12 and 16 at this point. It started off as more of just a little bit of a passion project to talk about things that I care about outside of real estate, actually. I didn't really have plans to use it as any type of like marketing tool, although like it might organically just become that at some point. I get a lot of good feedback. A lot of people in real estate, a lot of friends, family members follow it at this point. I need to do a better job of, promoting it to people that I don't know as well. But I get pretty good feedback from it. People like to hear like the kind of the raw way I discuss topics and ideas. I'm a very forward person and I enjoy writing. So I think I'm better actually expressing myself through writing than I am through speaking maybe. Yeah. So I just enjoy writing. It's something I enjoy doing. I would actually like to do two a week at one point. I'm trying to figure out though, like what I want to focus on. It's hard to write about 1,000 different topics with, some type of, I guess, consistency week to week. I love small business. I love fitness. I love investing in general and like personal finance in general. Those are things are kind of just easy to talk about. Sometimes I just write about whatever's on my mind. It might not even be something more technical. It might just be, I like the most recent one I wrote was kind of about making the shift indirectly making the shift from one career to another, and how I felt like I just turned 30, how I felt like in my 20s I was climbing a mountain that I didn't even personally want to be on. And that mountain was full of comfort and, the perks, salary, benefits, and everything that honestly I did not even care about. But other people wanted me on that mountain. So I talked about kind of coming down that and, taking on the next challenge. And it's never too late to, take on that next challenge. And if you see it as it is too late, you'll be stuck on the mountain you don't enjoy forever.
That's exactly the sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, I've already spent this much money or this much time on it. Let me just continue, even though I'm unhappy, and life is too short for that. How much time would you say goes into developing an average article of yours?
I would
Whatever it's
say I
called.
typically
Blog?
spend 1 to 2 hours writing each article. And then I use Beehive. It's a very simple tool for putting together a newsletter and scheduling and publishing it. Like it really only takes me 1 to 2 hours a week to write the newsletter. You know, I do want to do a better job of growing it, even if that means I have to reach out to every single person I know to try to get them to subscribe because, I'll put it out there for people to subscribe. But to be honest, like people might click the link, they might read the articles and they still don't subscribe, even though it's a pretty simple thing to do. But I think we all know how it goes. All of us don't want to be just added to another email list. So really, I think I could spend another 1 to 2 hours a week just adding people to the newsletter.
I do have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Beehive, can you talk to us about it? Because, and full disclosure, I'm interested in newsletter, blog type of thing. And so, what is Beehive? How does it help you? And how much does it
So
cost?
So Beehive is so I think I use like the basic plan right now, but I think one of the perks if you want to make it more of a business writing the newsletter is they have like premium models where you can like basically you're paying for subscriptions and they automatically build that into the newsletter for you. And you can select to include or advertise someone else's newsletter in your newsletter. And for every subscriber, like you'll pay that person $2.50 per subscriber or something like $2.50 per subscriber. I think the larger newsletters probably utilize that more than I do at this point. Beehive, I mean, it's a great simple tool. I think Sean Purry from the My First Million podcast is who I heard about it from. And I think he might even be an investor in it. But it's very simple. Like I'm not always the most tech savvy person, but you could start the newsletter today. You could write something and have it published to a list of people today. It's that simple.
What's the benefit of doing Beehive as opposed to, I don't know, a CRM or like MailChimp or whatever?
I like the customization of it, and I think it's easier. It gives you a landing page so that like you can store everything in the same spot, and it almost becomes like more of a blog. I think at some point, and maybe that even brings up another conversation is I think there's a lot of friction in email right now because I mean, I look at my emails and I get like 200 a day and I read maybe 5 of them. So at the end of the day, I might just be another email going out for people. So I would like to actually move some of my content to a blog as well. That's more of a general website that I'm working on and have other stuff on as well and try to drive SEO to that. But I don't have it figured out. That's for sure.
None of us do.
I think if you just write stuff you enjoy, the people will come. It doesn't have to be a moneymaker for me at this point. So, if that was the case, I might look at it a little differently.
Totally. And dude, the reason why I wanted to bring up the newsletter is because the articles that I did read, I really enjoyed your writing style. I thought it was very interesting content. You could tell that it was very like authentic. It wasn't like at all chat GPT or basic or
No.
canned. Like it felt like it just came right from your soul. And so then my thought for you in building your business, I'm like, do you have to get people to opt in? Can you mentioned having 800 people somewhere. Can you just put them on it and force them to opt out if they want out?
That's actually what I'm working on as we speak. One thing I'm doing is I'm creating like an automation flow in Zapier to basically anyone that emails me, they're getting added to my newsletter because if they're emailing me without me asking them to, they're getting added to mine and they can opt out. And then also, yeah, you're right. Just going through my database of people and, I guess subscribing them to my newsletter because, I don't spam people. So I'm not really worried about people thinking I'm emailing them too much with the newsletter. So yeah, that is literally my next step because I could increase my subscribers by hundreds. And then maybe I can tell y'all what the click rate actually is. Right now it's 75%, which is very high for, an actual click rate for a newsletter, but I'm sure it will go down once I just start manually adding people myself.
Are you using this as the base for your YouTube videos, or are your YouTube videos a different content? Yo, real quick, this podcast is not free. Cost of admission is sharing with a buddy who'd benefit or throwing it on your Instagram story. Tag us, we'll reshare that.
That will be different content. So I've been doing my research recently on the Raleigh Durham YouTube video market, mainly Raleigh. And I'm serious, there's only 3 people making any videos at all in the area, which to me signals that there is a massive opportunity. And the reason I think that exists is the barrier to entry is just higher for YouTube than other socials. Like I think the top guy I could find had 17,000 subscribers, and then the third person had like 1,000 subscribers. So that, I mean, that's nothing for a market that a ton of people are moving to. And to be honest, like I think some of their content I saw was good. Some of it's like a little stuffy. So I definitely think there's maybe a different group of people, different demographic I can appeal to. I like doing different things. I like golf. I would like to do like a golf course, like neighborhood series that I do like once a month. So I mean that's another part of attracting the people I want to work with as well. So that's my thoughts there. The newsletter doesn't necessarily play into that, but maybe if I see like an organic opportunity to combine those at some point, I will do that.
I would love, since you mentioned Zapier, I would love to start talking about tech, AI, how else specifically you're using. I want to continue the topic of Zapier specifically. How else are you using Zapier in your business?
Yeah, so I guess right now I'm using Zapier to handle like I'm kind of trying to decide that. I'm actually working with someone who's more experienced in it right now to figure out how I can create those, I guess, automation flows that I want to create in my business.
Is
Yeah,
his
but
name Ross?
no, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
But a lot of that, it's actually been more outside of my real estate business that I've been using it more recently. So it's like with the newsletter and other stuff I'm working on, and just trying to learn the tools in general, and how to integrate different features into each other. So I have a CRM right now that I don't love. So I have used Zapier to actually transfer everyone from CRM to my other CRM that I've created recently. So yeah, I'm still in the learning phases. As I said, I'm very raw at this point. I'm trying to build out systems and processes that make sense, and a lot of it's just learning the tools right now and how to use them. I do use AI for, I mean, the kind of the basic stuff like writing text, image generation, a lot of the stuff that a lot of us have already heard of. But I think AI is very green still in our industry. I would like to learn more about the tools and what the emerging tools are, and what I actually think will help real estate agents not just automate their processes, but also build their businesses through leads and all that other stuff. So
I'm curious, what CRM are you leaving and going to? And this might be too in the weeds as far as how that contact with Zapier transfers from one CRM to another. Does it have the notes, the birthdays, all the things?
So the first step was just trying to figure out how to transfer the context. So I use Sierra CRM as my CRM that my firm provides. It's okay. I don't love it, and I don't think the digital, or I guess the app version of it is great. Which I'm always on the road and always adding contacts through my phone, which is really probably the main reason I wanted to change. I'm trying to figure out how to shift all the notes and all like the lead statuses right now from Sierra to HubSpot, which I'm currently using. I don't even think I'll use HubSpot forever, but it was an easier place right now to store everything. I'm definitely open to suggestions for other CRMs.
I was hoping, I think Ali and I both were, that you had some magic Zapier like transfer technique to do the notes because it's one thing, dude. Yeah, of course, we can export the basic contact information, but it's like all of the, pipelines and the sequence tasked and the notes that I'm just like, my solution has been a virtual assistant. That is the only solution I found.
Yeah, no magic formula to that yet, but I'm going to keep working on it, and I am going to try to figure it out. So I will let you know.
Yeah. And I will say, because you mentioned that you're adding contacts on the road, I used to do that too. And I've only experienced truly KV Core, but that's also very clunky on the mobile. So I was like, this is so annoying. Plus, adding a contact takes a lot longer than it should. And my
Right.
goodness, is it not? Like, it's so time consuming. So yeah, like Shelby said, we both just do VAs. So now whenever I get a business card, I'm just like, hey Saskia, can you upload this? These are the hashtags, these are the follow-ups. And she already knows it. Like the rest, she just plugs and plays.
Yeah, and like HubSpot, they have the scan the business card now where it just automatically autofills all that data from the business card into the CRM. Yeah, it's
I
very
didn't know
easy.
that.
Yeah. The only other tool I use a ton is Canva for all my like social media content. And Canva is extremely easy to use. And if you need to edit videos as well, I think, Allie, go ahead. I didn't hear you there.
I'm sorry, I'm just behind the scenes. Okay, it's easy for everyone else. It is so hard for me to use Canva. I
Canva's
no.
a troll. She's a cave troll. When it comes to
Yeah.
Canva, it's
That's
embarrassing.
shocking to
Just
me.
kidding.
I
Allie,
mean,
you're great.
I don't do anything like extremely creative in it. It's just more of, taking pictures that I have and putting it into the templates. And sometimes I'll create a template here and there, but I still bum my sister's account because she works in marketing. So I just use hers.
Allie's really good at leverage with Canva though, because she's, like just bitching to me because we like talk all day about it. And I'm like, just send it to me. I'll do it. And then that's how she gets it done. It's
I
great.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, I have
enjoy the
my VA
marketing.
Shelby do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't have a VA yet. I don't have a transaction coordinator. So a lot of this I'm still trying to figure out myself. 2024, I think all my transactions I'll use a TC. So that's something like, I mean, that's how new I am to this. I need to build that out. I wanted to learn the contracts, the documentation myself for the first few months just to have a good understanding of them. But yeah, I definitely will start to leverage other people in my business because I'm getting to the point where I am working with enough people that I'm doing a lot of documentation late at night, or I'm kind of squeezing it in throughout the day and not probably paying as much attention as I would like to it.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference too between knowing the contract and then knowing how to click the buttons on where to add the initials and the dates.
Definitely.
So yeah, all of that, someone else. I don't even know what brokerage you're in. Does your brokerage provide like some sort of area like website where you can find a TC within your brokerage?
We actually have a few that work at our brokerage. They're, I guess, almost they're agents, but they have like TC businesses as well. So I can leverage them. And my brokerage also I guess refers several other people as well. But I work for Costello Real Estate. We're in like North Carolina, South Carolina. We just changed our commission splits for the better yesterday, which is hype. So if anyone's looking to join in the Raleigh Durham area, hit me up. But
What are the splits?
so they were 80-20 before with, I think, an 18K cap, and they're changing to 90-10 with a 10K cap. And then if you do 15 deals in a year, it goes to 100% commission with a it's around $600 transaction fee. So it's a great deal to get to 15. I'm going to try my hardest to get to 15 deals next year just because I will save a lot of money there.
Nice. Okay, cool. Before we finish the topic of AI, is there anything we didn't cover on AI tools and how you use it both in your personal life and business?
No, no. I mean, covered most of it. I think so here's how I'm planning this right now is over the next 3 months, I'm basically setting time on my calendar like every other day to leave an hour of training for AI tools. And then also digging into YouTube as much as I can as well. I have to set aside one thing I miss about being in school is I feel like I don't learn every day like I used to. And you really do have to set time aside for that in your business because it's easy to go a year without learning anything new. So yeah, that's my goal for the next few months. And then I think at that time I'll start to probably in my newsletter share more about the AI tools I'm learning about. It won't be the focus of the newsletter, but I don't know. I like to experiment and then I like to share those experiments. One time I did an experiment where I tried to eat on less than $8 a day, which for someone who works out a lot is very challenging. And I did it and I shared all the data and like details behind that. I like doing stuff like that. So
Dude, the people like that. I'm interested. I want to know how it turned out.
it was very
you know?
hard. I probably ate the only times I ate out, I would eat at Taco Bell. And that's when Taco Bell was like extremely cheap. So yeah, I don't recommend eating at Taco Bell necessarily, but I was young. I could handle it then.
I was looking at your blogs. One of them, I'm curious as to like specifically one of them where you're doing a $150 like Christmas giveaway. Have you done that before in the past? And what's the ROI on that? Like, what's the plan?
So this was the first year I did it, and I just had the drawing like 6 days ago for the gift card, and I ran it for 2 weeks. It was more of an experiment at this point. I probably even had half the information for the people that actually submitted their information. But what I wanted to do was, kind of just learn the ins and outs of it for next year, because next year I think I'm going to do something even bigger in that arena. Actually ran Facebook ads on it, which ended up doing pretty better than I thought they would. But I guess I was giving away free money, so maybe it wasn't the hardest thing in the world. And it ended up being like half the people that submitted their information were lived in other states, which fine. But I don't know how much it's actually going to serve me that I have their information. Either way, I still followed up with everyone and sent everyone like a Christmas card that registered for the giveaway. I mean, I will say though, I probably got the information for 5 to 10 people so now I have a way to get engaged with them through more mediums, whether it's mailing them stuff or sending an email or giving them a call or whatever it might be.
And did that connect you to any referrals or buyer seller clients?
Not yet. I mean, I think I started the giveaway December 1st. So yeah, it'll be more of a long term play. It was a way to also get maybe engaged with some people in my neighborhood. People in my neighborhood never use me as their agent when they sell their house, which I would like to change because I probably know it better than anyone at this point. And so it gave me a way to get engaged with some of those people. And then one of the questions I had on it was like, what's a small business you would like to start? So it was really cool to see some of the answers and some of the stuff I would have never guessed they're working on. I'm using it as like a way to get engaged with people, and we'll see if any of those end up turning into leads. But even just from the feedback I got back, some of maybe the more like outward facing people in the neighborhood that are involved did respond and did participate. So now I have their information and, can hopefully build some relationships with them.
That's a great question to ask. It's fun, and then you get to be the first to know, oh, this person's getting a hot dog stand, or whatever it is. Be in the in. Maybe what, I might do this for mine. Do mailers, not mailers, but like drop offs within the neighborhood. Hey, I'm doing even just like 50 homes would within your own neighborhood, and as opposed to maybe Facebook
That's a good idea.
ads, which then blast strangers outside of your target area.
Yeah, and I've got to figure out the ads because I definitely set a radius for where I want the ads to go outside of Raleigh, and obviously it's collecting people from other places. But yeah, maybe some things I would change to that might be helpful for other people is literally I would probably have a VA do this, but literally reach out to every person in your database and let them know you're doing the giveaway because when you give them that personal reach out, hey, fill this out, like they're much more likely to do it than just seeing it on like social media somewhere and having to click through a bunch of buttons to get there to do it. There's definitely like a level of accountability when you just reach out to people directly to ask them to do something. So I would change that. I would do that next time. Sometimes life just happens and things got a little busy and probably planned on doing that but didn't get to it. But that's okay.
Totally. Okay, Ryan, you know that we ask all of our guests for a golden nugget that they can find at theagentgoldmine.com for free. What is it that you have brought for our listeners today?
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to share that spreadsheet I use to kind of just track what the next year of business looks like. And probably a good time of year to be sharing it because I'm sure people are planning on what their business looks like next year. Like right now, I have 21 people in this spreadsheet that I potentially will be working with next year. And then I have a probability beside their name of, hey, there's a 100% chance I work with this person, or there's a 5% chance I work with this person. I have the price point they're in. I have the gross commission based on that price point, and then I have an expected value that gives me what my commission might actually look like based on those probabilities. Like right now, my total GCI is listed at 238,000. The expected value is 125,000. So hopefully I do more than that and I can get that expected value close to 200,000 because I guess that's maybe an arbitrary goal I have for GCI. But yeah, it's a very simple tool. The formulas will be built out already. I'll share that with y'all. And it might be more useful for the person that's the sphere of influence or referral based business, but
Perfect. Sounds good. We love a spreadsheet. We love formulas. And yeah, again, listeners, in case you missed it, go to theagentgoldmine.com and you can get his tool for free. And Ryan, okay, before we go to wrap up, what did we not talk about that you wanted to hit on today?
yeah, so I probably will be recording my first introductory podcast episode on Friday, and I want to get that moving next year as well. The niche behind it will be people who want to make $1 million a year or are making $1 million a year. I don't really care if people, want to come on and are never going to make that much money in a year. It doesn't matter that much. It's more about their desire to start businesses, do interesting stuff. It's more about that, more about their mindsets, who they are as people. I don't necessarily want it to be real estate focused, although just naturally, I think I'll have some people from the real estate world that will be on there. I know both of you kind of have interesting pivots coming up for your lives and businesses. So if you ever want to be on it, I'm happy to have you. But
Yes. Allie and I are insanely interesting, and we would love to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, have you,
Uh,
Allie, have you moved
yeah.
yet?
Apple listeners, this short pause is to ask you for a review. Here's how to do it. Back out of the specific episode, go to the page where you see all the episodes, scroll down, keep scrolling. Perfect. Now tap those 5 stars. Thank you so much. Back to the show.
No, actually, just on Monday, we found out that my wife is, in fact, going to be retiring, medically retiring from the Air Force as opposed to separating. Yeah, we were actually recording a podcast when toward the end when Brit just barges in like, "I'm retiring," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what?" But yeah, so we just found out. We don't know the date yet. Predicting maybe like summer, so 6 months, probably moving. Yeah, but really don't know yet. But at least we know the next step.
Wait, so are you not moving to Minnesota anymore?
We are. Now we just know that we're moving with Brit having been medically retired as opposed to separated. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't wait to see how you like, I guess, pivot with the YouTube stuff once you move to a new market. Because I'll probably be stealing ideas from you there. But
I'm happy to
yeah,
help in
definitely
any way
curious to
that
see
I
how that
can.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, if I have a goal to reach 500 people in the next year in the real estate world, or at least connect with them through networking events, coffees, lunches, etc. That's maybe one other like, arbitrary goal I have. But go ahead, Allie. I know you're about to ask something.
It was just going to be transitioning to the wrap up question. So anything else that's on your mind, just hit us.
Yeah, no, I would say if you're making that transition, just understand there's never going to be a right time to do it. It's not going to be easy starting out, especially in a market like we have right now. And maybe it gets a little easier in 2024 with interest rates going down some, but don't expect that. If you're starting out, work at the job like it's going to be the hardest thing you ever do because it'll be the hardest starting out. It probably only gets easier. Maybe both of you can attest to that. The challenges just change; they get bigger. But make the transition. It's going to be hard. Set some type of schedule every day to reach out to a certain number of people, whether you're cold calling or you're just talking to people in your network. Create a schedule for getting in front of those people. Um, it's one of those things where every strategy works. I would say just pick something that works for you. I listen to all these podcasts about people like cold calling, and it's like I almost don't even want to listen to them because I don't want to get distracted by the shiny object of something that I don't even enjoy. I just enjoy the outcome, which is closing more deals.
Dude, preach. And what you said in the beginning, I love. Of course, I want everyone to listen to this podcast always. But what you said in the beginning about like my goal for next year is to listen to less podcasts, 100% agree with that. It's if you already have your specific focus and you know your niche, why are you listening to podcasts and all of these other things that are just shiny objects that are going to distract you and essentially waste your time? And of course, I shouldn't be saying that because I want everyone to listen to this podcast, but it's the truth. Do you need to learn more things or do you just need to implement and take action on what you already know you should be doing? So totally with you, dude. But wrap up. Wrap up question number 1. What is your favorite app or tool?
I mentioned a couple of them. Probably right now, Canva. Like I'm still just trying to build out templates for all my social marketing content. Maybe it's simpler for me to use than others, but I enjoy it. Learn how to use it. You could probably spend 10 hours in Canva and learn it as much as you need to for a real estate business. I don't think many people are creating templates for others, but at least at a basic level, it's an easy thing to incorporate into social media. I guess social media is kind of just like a natural thing for me, but I know maybe older agents, it's not as natural. So get in there and make some stuff you like and post it.
I like that a lot. For you say 10 hours, it would take me 30, but hey, it's all, it all works out. So Ryan, you're in the Raleigh Durham area, but what events are you going to this year, both locally and nationally?
I'm open to suggestions for the second half of the year. So the first half of the year, I'm going to Big Sky to snowboard in January. Then I'm going to Cancun for a bachelor party in February. And then I have 4 weddings in March and April. So I'm trying to avoid any additional events in that time frame. But maybe June and later on, I would be down to travel for an event. I would like to get out and meet people that I know from the internet. So I think if anyone has suggestions, hit me up. I talked to Tony Angelo quite a bit, who was on your podcast as well. I think he wants to put on an event in Chicago at some point. I've never been to Chicago, so that's something I would do. But yeah, nothing on the docket right now. I definitely need to think about that. definitely as someone that's interested in more than just real estate and really the businesses that surround real estate and other industries as well, I want to get out and see what people are doing.
But the next question is, how can people and us, how can we help you in your business?
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned some of the goals of I would like to meet 500 people in the next year in the real estate world, not necessarily clients, just people that are doing things in real estate. That could be networking, that could be conferences, that could be, I do probably about one or two coffees a week with people in the industry. So that's, get in touch with me, add me on the socials, and we'll schedule something, get together, talk about what we're doing. Oh yeah, the podcast. Obviously, if there's anyone out there that would like to be on the podcast, pretty much open to anyone at this point. It's for me, it's a matter of just getting it started rather than worrying about, who is and who isn't coming on it. I'm one of those people, I'd have to get in a routine and a habit of doing something, or it's just never going to happen. I'm never going to willpower myself every week into doing it. But it is something I think I will enjoy. And then also, if you're just an honest wholesaler in North Carolina, I am looking for deals as well. Tell me the details up front and we'll be great working together. Like I was looking at a wholesale deal that got sent to me this morning, and the pictures looked fine in the initial email. And then I looked it up on Google Maps and it was beside a junkyard. So, just if you're wholesaling, hit me up. I would love to work with someone that's out there trying to find deals, because it's something that I'm probably not going to do myself. So yeah, those are probably the ways people could help me 2024. If you have YouTube advice, I'll take that as well.
Yes, yes, and yes. First, I have to mention, I can't believe how short-sighted people are, where they think that they'll try to just sneak something past someone. Hey, here's an agent. As a wholesaler, let me send a lead to an agent who, they won't do their due diligence. They won't look it up. Maybe I could slide it past them. Like, what a way to kill a relationship from the start. Even as a listing agent, say the bad stuff, so that way you're not trying to just. As soon as people think, oh, you were trying to trick me into this, forget it. The relationship is squashed. I can't believe that people don't just say the bad up front. And I love the fact that I think you're one of the first guests that very, very detailed into how people can help you, which is great. People are usually referrals, which is amazing too. But you're hey, you're very intentional. You can help me in this portion, this portion, this portion. So I love, love, love that. And we do have a YouTube checklist. We have a podcast checklist. We can help you. So we can answer, we can check off some of those things. Yeah. So when people realize, hey, I can help out Ryan, where can they find you?
So I would say Instagram's the easiest place to probably get connected with me right now. My handle is Cash Rules Raleigh. The LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn as well. Ryan Overcash on there. I'm bald guy in a suit if you're looking through the Ryan Overcashes. And then YouTube as well as Cash Rules Raleigh. So pretty simple. There's only 2 videos on there right now. So if you want to subscribe, don't expect to get much value out of it currently, but hopefully that changes next year. But yeah, those are the easiest place to get in touch with me. I want to use social media as more of a, I want to be more of a producer rather than a consumer next year, because there is a ton of leverage you can get from it. I already do for my business. It's already a way I reach out to people and stay connected with people. And I don't even make that much content yet. So I feel like that could change the game for me.
The power of socials. Love it. Okay, guys, everyone go follow Ryan. And in case you missed it, it will, of course, be in the show notes. And Allie, the agent, and the Shelby Show. That's us on the gram. Go hit us with feedback, say what you hate hearing, say what you love hearing. We want to know, we want to improve, we want to grow. And Ryan, thank you so much for being on the show. Listeners, this one's for you. Be a bro and share this show.
And then go ahead.
No, God. Newsletter, unless Allie, do you have anything else?
Nope. Got it. Go
okay, dude, Ryan, I have talked over you more times in this show than I feel like I've talked over anyone other than Allie, who I do talk over. We just fight all the time. I'm so sorry.
But yeah,
that's all I have to say.
Is
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no. I just wanted you to. This part is so cool. I'm sorry. I'm awkward. I'm the problem. It's me. Did you have any other thought? Mark this entire portion. Okay.
Dude, I've been just marking behind this.
Whatever.
I love it.
Thanks so much for listening, dude. If you want the golden nugget that this guest provided, see the show notes or just go straight to theagentgoldmine.com. That's where we keep all our resources for you. Till next time.